An easy summer dinner inspired by all those great flavors from around the world. A tri-tip sirloin, could be a lamb leg, could be a whole roast sea bass, could be a spatchcock chicken, some ducks, some chicken thighs, it really doesn't matter, rubbed with ras al hanout, parsley, olive oil, and red wine vinegar. An incredible lemony, vegetable-laden orzo pilaf, sweet and sour pickle salad, an incredible tzatziki, and of course that tri-tip along with the roasted artichokes that we did on the grill. How good is this? Yeah, it's that good. So it ends at the table. It spends a lot of time at the grill, but this whole meal really starts in the kitchen with making our tzatziki, with our spice mixture that is going to marinate our beef, lamb, chicken, whatever you're, or even fish, whatever you're going to serve as the main grill item. And of course the cucumber salad. So I guess the first thing we got to do is get started with that, which is 2-to-1 vinegar to sugar, lots of sliced cucumbers, red onion. You want to throw a chili in there, go for it. You want to throw dill in there, go for it, but that's kind of where it starts. And these stunning little cucumbers, some are from my garden, some are from the farm stand down the road. It's the perfect time of year to be getting into these small chub cucumbers. I'm going to tell you right now, the secret to using a mandolin, whether it's this style, any type of mandolin or slicing device, is to look at the piece of food that you were slicing, not at your fingers. If you look at your fingers, you will cut yourself. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but if you look at, I'm just doing this, letting these slices fall into the bowl. If you look at your fingers, you're going to forget that there's several other fingers holding on to it. You have some fingers on the back side. If you look at your food, you're actually looking at the blade. And that's really what I want you to do. Your body kind of won't let you slice your fingers unless you've had a couple of drinks or a gummy or two. So let's not do that while we're using a mandolin. But look at your food and you won't slice your fingers. Look at your fingers, you will slice your fingers. I have a poblano pepper. I'm gonna cut that up and add it to my cucumber salad because why let it go to waste in the fridge? Red onion. Two cups vinegar, 1 cup sugar. Whisk. Doesn't take long, a minute or two, get that sugar dissolved. Dill. I'm gonna save these gentle fronds up top for my tzatziki, and I'm going to use the stems for my pickled cucumber salad. Put them in the vinegar, let their flavor bloom. It's a nice, gentle thing, especially for those that aren't really fond of dill, just gives it a gentle dill flavor. So here's how I can make this pickled cucumber salad and use 3-4 quarts of cucumber onion mixture and only 2 cups vinegar, 1 cup sugar as my pickling solution because I do it in a Ziploc bag rather than in a bowl. I don't want to waste a lot of vinegar and sugar. So I can use very little marinade, get the same effect, and it works like a charm every single time. So I've got this bag, and all I do is take my pickling liquid or salad dressing, depending on how you think about this. Give a last little swirl in there. And there it is. And when I occlude the air in this, I am going to have full contact with all of that vinegar mixture and the cucumbers. 4 or 5 hours in the fridge and this is ready to go. All right, let's make the tzatziki. Chop some dill. Chop some cucumber. And I'm looking for a nice small dice on this. So I'm going to make sure that all of my pieces are small before I get going. I don't need to, this is going into liquid yogurt, so I don't need to get into analysis paralysis, but I do want to make sure these are about a 1/16 of an inch, something like that. Here I've got some nice planks. One cucumber will do the trick. Come back and cut those 1/4 inch long pieces into 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch dice. One clove of garlic, and I like to pass it through the microplane so it disappears into that sauce. I want to put a shallot in there. Take your knife, draw it across and through the shallot. I'm able to get 4 slices there. And then I come down with the front of my knife. And then when I go this way, I have some really finely minced shallot. And if you want to really make them disappear, don't put them on a microplane because it pulls out too much liquid. But you could even make a pass or two with your knife and really mince that shallot super fine, because you want to bite down on little pieces of that shallot in the tzatziki. Lemon juice, no seeds. Small one is fine. You don't need a lot, a tablespoon or so, maybe a little bit more to taste, but you want the acidity in there. Very, very, very important. And I have these wonderful little peppers from the garden, and I'm gonna slice those really thin. This is a mild chili. It's got a little bit of heat. And I'm just gonna make a pass with my knife. I just love the flavor of a little fresh chili in with this. We put that in there as well. Now, to me, and everyone has a different opinion, tzatziki isn't tzatziki unless it has mint in it. So grab some mint from the garden. Yes, the dogs agree. Pull the leaves, yes, off of them. And I just roll these up in a little ball and make what I call a poor man's chiffonade. And then come here, it's not too exacting. And then I come against it the other way and just chop it up. You're looking for, what is that, about 2, maybe 3 loose tablespoons. And we put that in there as well. That's gonna be great. Nice, thick Greek yogurt. It really is the best. And always mix that first 4-6 ounces in. Some people prefer this as a dip as opposed to a sauce for grilled meat. Quiet. Now, if it's a dip, I may be adding just a little more yogurt because I want to taste all of those vegetables. But as it is right now, it's too vegetably and chunky, right? So I'm going to add another 2, 3, 4 ounces until I see that it's got that great tzatziki sauce as opposed to tzatziki dip appearance to it. Put in my salt and pepper, tasted it a couple of times, and I think this needs some really nice olive oil. Sometimes some yogurts have better fat content than others. Plus, I like the flavor of olive oil in tzatziki. So just a couple of tablespoons, much in the same way that you would finish a piece of food that comes out of a saute pan or the oven. I think a little olive oil sometimes is just fantastic. Oh yeah. So the next thing we need to do is make a very quick little herby, garlicky, oil vinegar marinade for our meat. And we're gonna put garlic in it, we're gonna put onion in it, and I'm gonna put ras al hanout in it, which is a spice mixture from Northern Africa and from the Levant that has allspice and clove and peppercorn and coriander and cumin. It is sold as its own thing. Lots of different brands. You go to the supermarket, you're gonna see ras al hanout. It is just a wonder. I love that combination of some of the sweet spices in there, and I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons to my blender cup. An onion, a really fat garlic clove, a big handful of parsley. I just need this as a rub. It doesn't need to be swimming in it. I'm going to add a few tablespoons of homemade red wine vinegar. You can use any kind of red wine vinegar you like. My friend JP made me that. A few big glugs of olive oil. Add some salt and pepper and buzz this up. I had intended for this to be a boneless or bone-in leg of lamb, but I went to 2 or 3 stores, no leg of lamb. More about that in the written portion of this Substack post. But what I got were some beautiful tri-tip sirloins. We'll get them nice and rubbed down. We'll get some good char on them on the grill, and it's gonna be delicious. This rub that I made is very thick. It's like a paste, and that's what we want because I want it to adhere to the meat. And so I'm just making sure I get all of it out of there. Let me show you what I have. It's very aromatic, right? It's very, very herbaceous. It's got a little bit of tart aroma from the vinegar, and I'm just scraping down the sides. By the way, I over salted it on purpose. And then I am going to pour this down over my 2 pieces of beef for the grill. Each one's about 2 pounds. So this amount of marinade is enough for 4, probably to 5 or 6 pounds of meat, whether they are chicken thighs, pork chops, leg of lamb, lamb chops, or these babies right here. And I'm just going to rub that, I mean, literally rub it into the meat, and then we'll get them ready to go on the grill in a couple of hours. There they are, all nicely rubbed down. Now, any excess marinade, I'm gonna scoop into a little bowl, and when I flip the meat the first time, and I've got that nice charred exterior, I'm gonna pour half on. When I flip it the second time, I'm gonna pour the second half on, and then probably cook them over indirect heat. Let the grill get nice and hot, obviously, hopefully 450, 475, but indirect, and let them roast until they're in between medium rare and medium for a tri-tip. It's just a fatty cut. You need to get it hot enough on the inside to start to break down some of the connective tissue that's in there. It's a wonderful grilling cut. Really pumped about this, but I like to get it past medium, or past medium rare rather, but not all the way to medium, and let it rest. Nice and pink inside. Next thing you gotta do, light the grill. natural hardwood charcoal. I don't need to use either of my really big machines or my pit barbecue or my Kamado Joe's for something like this. I'm gonna cook some artichokes. I'm gonna grill some beef over a traditional kettle grill. This one is my PK grill. I really like it a lot. Cast iron. Could use some better finishes. I'm not really fond of the composite plastic components, but all in all, the PK grill gets a big thumbs up from me. Next thing we gotta do, trim our artichokes because we're gonna be roasting those on the grill as well. Lemon. Rub it on those cut parts, set it aside. I do that out of habit. I mean, these are roasting on the grill. We're not gonna see any browning there, but it's a habit. Make sure you use nice, thorough strokes when you're cutting through there so you don't cut yourself. Only 18 more artichokes to go. All right, these are done. Once the coals are ready, we'll get our beef and our artichokes cooking. This is the setup I like on my PK when I'm going to be grill roasting meats. I have my handy little trap door here. Add more coals. They're almost 100% gray, 80% gray. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these beautiful tri-tips and I'm gonna lay one sort of at an angle there and then try to do something similar here, curl that around and let those start to char. At the same time that I'm doing that, yeah, can you tell I don't have my tripod? I've got some extra virgin olive oil and I'm just going to squeeze a tablespoon, maybe a little more, just to melt down into each artichoke in the center. I'm gonna put those, I'm gonna roast them on indirect to start. And then eventually I'm gonna char them in the coals themselves, right? Let's move that in a little bit. So there's the pre-traditional setup. Can always add more coals to that side. I'm just gonna let these go until eventually I move those steaks over as well and we get those going indirect. Add some more fuel. And these will take about 70 to 80 minutes total cooking time. They're kind of, well, that one's got a thick middle, but they're about average size for nice tri-tips. They'll shrink and ball up quite a bit, but this is going to be a delicious dinner. Very, very great, simple, easy way to build layers of flavor when you're grilling is to use some of that marinade. Got to use some of that marinade a second time, right? We're going to move that in a second over here, rearrange our artichokes, and close that lid. Last thing we need to do, our Orzo Pilaf. Put a couple tablespoons of butter into a pot. Add 2 cups of orzo. And we just want to stir that around and toast the orzo in the brown butter. Not too high heat. I have this on a nice medium. I don't want to burn the orzo or scorch it. I just want to toast it. Now, it's kind of tough to see, but you can actually note that some of those little pieces of orzo pasta are starting to turn golden brown. And it does it in a beautiful, uneven way. You can smell it before it happens, which is why when you're doing this part of the process, you should never, ever leave the pot, because you don't want to scorch these pieces of pasta. You just want to toast them. And toasting them in brown butter is just heavenly. And the easiest way, and the necessary way, to stop this from browning is to add anything cold or anything moist to the pan. Obviously, you could add water or stock, but I'm going to start to add my vegetables. I have some yellow peppers and thyme. I have my lemon zest and my carrot that's diced. And the moment that I add these to the pan, it starts to lower the temperature. Oh, look at the color of that toasted orzo, nice and nut brown. And I just keep stirring. Brown is great. We don't want anything past nut brown. And now that I've got everything going in the pan and my thermal momentum going, I add 4 cups of chicken broth. And we're going to bring that to a simmer. It's coming to a simmer. Slap a lid on it, lower the heat, and let it cook for 20 minutes. All right, my coal bed is still nice and hot. My artichokes are getting really nice and roasty toasty. I'm just going to let them be. I've turned all of these so that I'm evenly cooking them next to the heat here. I put another smear of the marinade on top of my tri-tips. Look at how much they've shrunk. This one is probably close to being ready. No, they need to cook for a little while longer. And I'll finish everything over the high heat, but right now it's just roasting along at about 425 degrees grill temp over the heat. But that's, you know, we're still nice and toasty over there. Better to go low and slow than to burn up and fade away, as the song lyric goes. Okay, another 25 minutes has elapsed. Ooh, baby, look at that. I'm just gently blowing on those coals. Just when you lift the lid, I have air holes open below. I have air holes open above, so we're getting nice constant heat. And look at those artichokes. How perfect are they? We're gonna cut them in half, and then we're going to take the chokes out before we serve them. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that these are tender all the way through. And yes, a leaf pulled out. Still could cook for a little while longer. The leaf pulled out, but just a little bit before tender. These tri-tips are perfect. So they're ready to rest on our cutting board here. And we'll let those artichokes go for another 10-15 minutes while the meat rests. That, my friends, is a delicious tri-tip sirloin. 20 minutes later. can still, there's just a little bit of moisture. I'm gonna season this again. And then I'm going to add the juice of a lemon. Maybe half a lemon. The idea here is we have all of that lemon peel, but I want some fresh lemon. I want this to be really vibrant and tart. So I think that half lemon was probably nice enough. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to cover this and turn off the heat completely and let that hold for about 10 minutes while our meat rests, and then we'll serve. It got a little too dark out to show you everything coming off the grill, but suffice to say, after an additional 20 minutes on the grill while the meat was resting, the artichokes just turned out perfectly. First things first, the tzatziki, nice and thick, absolutely perfect. A little bit of garlic and shallot flavor has bloomed in there. So have all those herbs and the lemon juice. The Orzo Pilaf has absorbed that last little bit of liquid. You can see there's none left in there. I can smell the fresh lemon. Look at how gorgeous that is. That is just absolutely perfect. And the shine from that brown butter, perfection. And stayed nice and hot, by the way, if you notice. Obviously, the cucumber salad. Once you see some of these cucumbers, especially if you slice them nice and thin, begin to curl, they are perfectly pickled, but I've served this fresh myself. You can also drain it and stir in sour cream in each portion if you like, but this sweet and sour cucumber salad with red onion is absolutely perfect. And here are those fabulous, fabulous artichokes that I was telling you about. I'm going to cut them in half. And this is how we are going to serve them. The hearts are absolutely tender. The dogs are at my feet, which means they must know it's dinner time. And all you want to do is take a spoon and just pull the choke out, right? Super, super simple. Really easy. I like to serve it that way because I don't want my guests to have to deal with it, right? And you can use your thumb on the other side. Take out some of those little pieces of the choke that remain behind. Sometimes you get a couple in there that little persnickety over here, but this just makes it so nice for your guests when you can actually, let me just clean this up a little bit, pull that out, when you can actually serve it like this. And people can pull the leaves off and dunk it in butter, which is really, really lovely. So we're gonna get some of this done and cleaned up, and then we'll slice into our steak. Okay, let's see how this turned out. Absolutely perfect. Look at that. With tri-tip, juicy, pink, but cooked all the way through. That is going to be butter, butter tender. Wow. Look at that. That is stunning. Yeah, even the dog thinks so. Okay. So, make a nice little plate here. A little bit of the orzo, a little bit of the cucumber salad, a little bit of the tzatziki, a little artichoke, a few slices of that tri-tip sirloin. That is a simple, easy summer dinner that just is too good to be true. Cannot wait to dig into this. How good is this? Yeah, it's that good.